Hi, I'm Phyllis Harmon. I'm a member of TV Toastmasters. In this club, we have an opportunity to practice speaking before the camera as well as running the equipment room. If you're interested in being interviewed on TV Toastmasters or becoming a member, please go to toastmasters.org and look for us, or simply search for TV Toastmasters on the web.
Hello, I'm Ken Coomes, a member of TV Toastmasters and Daylighters Toastmasters, and the host of The Right Stuff. Tonight I have the distinct pleasure of welcoming a friend of mine, James Wantz, to the show, who's actually going to ask me a few questions. Welcome, James. I'm glad you could make it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Ken.
And what sort of questions do you have for me tonight, James?
I have questions for you centered on writing, so I figured The Right Stuff would be the best place to take them. Because I've known for several years that you're a writer, but I haven't known exactly what you've written. So my first question for you is, how many books have you published, and what genre do you like to write the most?
I don't have a favorite because I write in a number of genres, but as far as publishing goes, I have 3 books out now, 2 in fantasy and 1 in science fiction, and they're 2 trilogies that weave together. I have an entire story and a world setting that involves science and dragons and magic and civilizations interplaying with each other.
And these are the books that we have here on the table. So you actually do have print copies as opposed to just ebooks.
Both are available at Amazon. I also carry usually the print copies around with me. I've talked to readers that like to hold a book and those that like the ebook and the digital age as well.
I mean, most
How
of
about
the...
you? Do you like ebook or physical or both?
I enjoy the physical, tangible book because I enjoy going to author signings, and I have yet to find a way to get an author to sign an ebook. They leave the permanent marker right across the screen of my tablet, but it doesn't quite get to the ebook. So yeah, I appreciate actual hard copy. I am of the Luddite clan, where I enjoy books in their myriad qualities, especially the smell. You take a book and just, the printing. It's wonderful. I love that. All right, so the questions that I have for you, because I'm kind of a struggling writer myself, and I struggle primarily not with the writing aspect, but with the marketing. I have this, how should we say, a tendency to downgrade my efforts and think that I'm not doing as well as I think I should be doing, and I really don't want to go out there and try and market myself to a world where I just, the self-critic is going all the time. How did you tackle that aspect of personal marketing?
First of all, I think we all have that inner critic. It's been said that we are our own harsh critics, our own worst critics.
Yeah.
I fall into that. And when I write something, whether it's published or still a work in progress, it's never perfect, and it's never going to be perfect. So I try to do my best, and when a story is done enough to be appreciated, it's time to publish it. As for the peripheral things, the marketing, I struggle with that as well. But what I've learned to do is appreciate the fact that, surprisingly, readers appreciate my work. I've had fan mail from Australia and England. I've had somebody compare me to Charles Dickens. I think that's a slam against Dickens, but hey, what the heck? That's what they thought. So I can appreciate that and appreciate those readers. And at book signings, I will gladly autograph my books for them.
So you found a way through the marketing that gets you to what you love, which is the connection with your readers.
Yes. I like to connect with my readers. I like to hear from my readers. I like to listen to my readers almost as much as I like to listen to and hear from my characters. I'll start writing, and my character will go off in a direction I did not think about and take me somewhere else I didn't expect. But I go with that because that's the character's life I'm portraying. Readers have their own set of questions and thoughts and ideas and issues, and I love to speak to them at book signings and other places. The digital book, I appreciate the fact that people like to carry on their tablet, even if it's been written across. They like to carry a number of books with them in one small device on a trip or on a vacation. I do that myself. I can carry an entire library in my pocket on my cell phone when I go on a trip. And that's great. But I do also prefer the smell and the feel of the print, and I like to be able to open the book and hold it, feel its weight. And I've talked to many readers like that as well.
So what platforms or booksellers are your books being sold through right now?
I'm probably moving back to Barnes & Noble and Kobo as well as Amazon so that I can reach a wider audience. I started that way with ebooks on all three platforms and hard copy at Amazon. I've now got some hard copy in the library, has picked up a couple of copies of my book, and I've got some in Barnes & Noble for the physical copy. For a while I tried Kindle direct publishing through Amazon. It used to be CreateSpace. And that allows a more global audience, but there are certain rights they want you to be exclusive with them, so they don't want your book to be on another ebook reader.
Oh, so they only want you on the Kindle, and they don't want you on...
If you want to reach certain markets that they go to. So I tried that, hoping to reach a wider audience and get more sales and have more readers, and it worked for a while. But now I think it's time to go back to other platforms to reach different audiences.
So when you started to interact with the different platforms, the Barnes & Noble, the Amazon, etc., did you kind of do it yourself, or did you have someone that you contacted in the industry that kind of showed you the way or kind of gave you a stepping stone to go through?
It probably is evidenced by the fact I like to write and read science fiction. I'm a bit of a nerd or a geek. So I figured out how to do it myself, and I figured out the different platforms and how to upload my files, how to get them on Nook, and how to get them on Kobo as well as the Kindle e-reader. I provide on my website links to free reader applications so people don't have to have a given platform if they want to read the ebook once they have it downloaded. So I did it myself, and I learned a few things along the way. I do know there are many author services available today. There are companies that will do all of that for an author and more, including some of that difficult stuff like marketing and promotion. Depends on a person's goal. Who are they writing for? Why are they writing? Who do they want to reach? And what is their budget? If they're doing this as an act of love, it's a work of love, it's passion to write for me. If they're doing it for that reason, they're not really trying to make a buck. They probably don't want to spend a lot of money on marketing, and they just want to reach the people they can reach. But if they have a big budget, they've got a well-paying job they're doing, and they write on the side, and they want to become a bestseller at some point perhaps, they might want to go a different route and use some of these author services that provide all of that for them, marketing, promotion. You can even have other people, if you pay them, design your covers, format your book, upload the files, get that on different platforms for you, and so forth.
Now, how crucial is having a website in this entire process?
I think it's crucial from what I've been told. More importantly, it depends on an author's desires.
From what you've been told, I see. I detect a touch of hesitancy in that.
I'm not sure that it's necessary, but in today's world, almost every business artist, be a musician, be a painter, be a graphic artist, be a writer, has a platform, a social media platform, including a website, perhaps also Instagram, Facebook, Twitter accounts. So I designed a website for myself with the help of my youngest son, who's a geek also. So we put together an author website, and I have learned recently about people I didn't know that visit my blog there on occasion and that read what the sample chapters I put there. So for me, it's another way to connect with other readers, and I like that, as I said before. I tweet and I blog. I tweet more regularly than I blog, and I intend always to get into more of both of those.
Yeah.
But I don't want to tweet just to be tweeting. I want to have something worth saying.
Yeah.
I don't want to blog just to be filling the cyberspace. I want to blog if I've got something to offer. What I think I've come to the realization of is that because it might be expected by certain people, a large number of people, and it's a way to be known by them, If I gather other material that other people have valuable content, I don't have to create it all myself. And then I can share, giving credit where it's due, providing links where appropriate, and share other information that's been useful for me through my blog, for example.
So when you tweet, is it something in specific connection to your writing, or is it like current events, or just, you know, what is meaningful to you at the moment? Or is it, I guess the question is it centered around your writing and your writing passion, or is it kind of the, you know, everything beside that, the stuff you do after you do your writing?
I try to do a little bit of tweeting about my writing, but more tweeting about other things. I don't want it to become a hammering of people, here's my book, buy my book,
Right.
buy my book, here's what I wrote. So I want to talk about writing. I want to talk about other people that write. I want to talk about interesting things. And about 10% of the time I tweet, I want to remind people that I have books out there and what they are, and provide links to the books so they can buy them. And occasionally I'll throw in one of the lines I really like from one of my books as well. My favorite line still is in my first book, and it's where one of the characters says, "Only the dead are beyond salvation." I don't know how that came to me, but it did. I wrote it, I loved it, and I've shared it with people who also seem to appreciate it.
That'd almost be pretty good on a t-shirt.
It might be.
Pretty cool. The with the tweeting and the blogging, you mentioned that the primary connection for you is with the readers, and those that are going to your website or responding to you. You've received emails from readers. Have you received letters, or has it been primarily electronic at this point?
I haven't provided my physical address.
Oh, really? Why would you not do that?
Oh, there are several reasons. I won't go into all of them here, but in today's world, I think it's fine to provide people a way to contact you, maybe more than one way, but you don't have to provide them with every way there is to contact you. So if I haven't met these people physically, I provide them an email address. I don't even think I put my phone number in my books yet, just the email address. So that's how I've heard from people in different parts of the world that have read my book. It's pretty exciting when they let me know they wanted to edit or proofread or get the next copy in advance. They were so excited. And I would like to take that point to say, we're going to take a short break and take up this conversation after the break. So thank you for watching.
Hello everyone, my name is Christopher Taylor and I'm with TV Toastmasters. My home group is Feedbackers in Beaverton, Oregon. I first joined Toastmasters for a couple reasons. I was nervous. I had trouble speaking in front of others. I needed some help. And when I joined Toastmasters, not knowing what to expect, I learned several things. One, it gave me the confidence to speak in front of others. I learned how to take constructive criticism. I benefited from that. That benefit was the confidence to get a job. When I took the suggestions in the club, when I started speaking in front of a group and remained speaking through my role, doing table topics, getting topics that you're unaware, learning how to think on your feet, learning how to speak on your feet. I first started working managing the Berkshire Hathaway account. I started as a back office role, not the face of the company. It didn't take long until I was dealing directly with the executives. Today I give executive briefings for Verizon Enterprise in the highest level in the enterprise space. And I'm grateful, and I owe all of that to Toastmasters. Thank you.
Welcome back to The Right Stuff. I'm still Ken Coomes. James Wantz is still here with me. We flipped it around tonight and he's been asking me questions. Actually, we've had some viewers that asked what I think about writing, so that spurred this episode. So welcome again, James.
Yep, absolutely. Good to be here. Thank you for having me. As a budding writer myself, I have a plethora of questions, a myriad pile of unanswered issues with writing, and we've talked about a few of those. I want to get into some of the actual dynamics of the publishing. Now, I've noticed with your books, how did you decide on the cover art?
I've had that question before. And in my case, what I chose to do, Once There Were Dragons has a picture of a dragon on it. It's actually a close-up of a miniature that I painted, and it's larger than life. So I decided I did not have the budget to go out and hire a professional artist at hundreds of dollars to design a book cover, although there are other ways to have a book cover designed. So I did my own, and I've had mixed reviews. Most people really are amazed that it's a miniature that I painted, and they look at that and they say, wow, this is great. A couple of people look at that cover and say, it's not what I would choose. Another miniature I painted is the Wizard.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember.
Used to be
I saw
magic.
this one too.
I don't
Absolutely.
like the miniature I painted, but I didn't have a better one at the time to put on the cover.
Huh.
And then for Problems in Paradise, since I don't have any miniatures of the universe or galaxies or science fiction settings to paint, I chose free to any use license image from the web that I went and found, Twin Star, because travelers go to a new world where there's a binary star system and set up their new world paradise. And that's what that's all about.
Now, as far as the actual design of the cover, did you put this all together yourself?
I designed everything. I came up with the artwork. I came up with the font, the size, and so forth. And I don't like any of them quite as well as I'd like to, so I'm learning as I go.
Sure.
I have since learned that many services, for example, if you go to Kindle, which used to be CreateSpace, and you're going to upload a book, they have some cover art, stock cover art you can use, or if you have an image you found on the web somewhere and you can upload the image and they will design a cover for you for a fee. There are author services, I mentioned those before, such as BookBaby, which they offer a plethora or a myriad, to use your words, of services. So you can have them simply upload your files, or you can have them design a cover for you, design the format of your book, figure out a marketing budget and approach and promotion. The package goes from a minimalist package, if it's all you want, to a broad range of services, just a matter of cost.
So you strike me as somebody who likes being involved in every process of publishing. I mean, obviously you enjoy the writing, because this is all the writing here.
Yes.
But you design the covers, you took the photographs of the covers, you designed this, you've gone through the steps of getting it printed, you carry these around with you, sign them, you go to book signings, etc. I know that the passion that you have for writing seems to overflow into these other areas. Have you always been that kind of wanting to figure out everything and do it yourself?
It's a blessing and a curse. I love to learn new things. I love to try new things. I've been accused of being a creative person, so beyond the writing, creating covers and things like that.
Yeah.
I like to go to book signings and meet people. So for me, that is all pleasure. It's the nuts and bolts, the finances, the dollars and cents of marketing per se aren't necessarily my forte or something I've gotten into.
So are you independently wealthy now?
My wife says it's a hobby still. It's not a avocation.
A passion.
Yes.
Passion, more like. Yeah, it's absolutely a passion. I mean, do you get that sense? I mean, you walk into a room in your own home. I assume you have some of your own books on a shelf.
I do.
Do you just stop every now and then and just look at those and go, wow, I did that? I mean, is it a sense of, or do you look at it and say, oh, it could have been better?
I always look at it and think, oh man, why did I do that? It's not ready. I could have made it better. However, the first time my book appeared on the shelf at Barnes & Noble, I was thrilled. I looked at that and I said, oh wow.
Nice.
The first time I saw it in the library, I thought, that's pretty cool. I still wish I'd written it better, but it's pretty cool.
You know, and that's the thing that I struggle with, is I keep wanting to write it better, and so I never get to the point of having a product. And that is what I so admire about you, is that you have the product. Okay, maybe it's not perfect, but last time I checked, being human, we're definitely not perfect. And I'm certain that anybody that has written a book can look at it and go through and see where the problems are.
Here's the thing for me, and I've told people this recently. I used to be what I call a one-day author. One day I'm going to write.
Yep.
One day I'm going to be published. One day I'm going to be on the bestseller list. I let life get in the way. And there were a lot of days. None of them were the day. Finally, I decided to make it happen. I made it happen. So then I became not just a one-day author, but a published author.
So what was that point? What was the impetus to get you from one day to this day?
For a long time, I carried a misconception. I thought, I'm going to be a writer someday. I'll have 4 hours at a time. I'll lock myself in my study. Nobody will interrupt me, and I'll have a blank piece of paper in the typewriter back in those days.
Yeah.
And I'll start writing. That never happened.
No.
It's my fault. I could have tried to make that happen, I suppose. But life happens to everybody. So my daughter-in-law, before she was my daughter-in-law, introduced me to National Novel Writing Month, usually called NaNo or NaNoWriMo by those that know it. That's where people try to write 50,000 words in 30 days in the month of November each year.
November, yes.
It's a non-profit free service. You can sign up with these tools to track your progress and so on. So we're on a road trip in the middle of November, and she tells me about Nano, which I'd never heard of. Great, says I. I'll do that. And I started on November 16th, 2010. And I said, I'm going to write 50,000 words. I got to 11,000 by the end of the month.
Nice.
The next year I was at home and I said, I could do this now. And I started on November 1st. And I got all the way up to 17,000 words before life happened. Finally, third time's charm, I said, I'm going to do this. And I made myself sit down every day in November, even if it was 10 minutes or 15 minutes, a paragraph here, a page there, write or edit, until by the end of the day I have worked on 1,700 words a day approximately, just a little under that, so that I could get 50,000 words by the end of November. And I did it. I had 50,154 words. And that was the core of book one. It wasn't the whole book. Nice. It wasn't enough.
That's the core of this book.
That's the core of that book.
So how many words is words is this book?
A little over 125,000.
125,000. So you're talking just under half of the book.
The whole idea was there.
The entire idea.
But the characters, the story arcs, none of those were fleshed out enough.
Ah. So you took all of that you did during the month of November and then fleshed it out over, how long did it take you to flesh it out to get to this point?
Once I had the core and I was excited about what I had, it only took me 7 more months to finish.
Wow. So essentially 8 months.
Essentially 8 months.
8 months. And then how long was it until you had this published?
That was another 2 months, learning things, designing the cover, uploading files, changing the format around till I had it where I wanted it, and so forth.
Wow. So in other words, if in 1 year from now, if I don't have a book out, then I'm lagging behind.
It's on you.
It's totally on me.
Let me tell you something, and all the wannabe writers out there.
All right,
okay?
please do.
Get started. That's the first step. If you're not sure about your word count or your efforts, there's a program called 750words.com. You can go to that website. You can download and target 750 words a day to start. Before you tackle Nano, which is 1,667 words a day, if you keep it on a linear basis,
who's keeping
right?
track? Yeah, absolutely.
Stephen King, a lot of people know him. He writes 2,000 words a day. I just recently reread his book called On Writing, one of his nonfiction pieces.
Yeah.
He writes 2,000 words a day. That's his goal. So I set that up as my goal recently, and now I've achieved that. It took a 6-week period to add to my word count every day till I got to 2,000. So now I write 2,000 words a day, Monday through Saturday, every week.
How long does that take you?
That varies widely, but the quickest I can get that many words written is about an hour and a half or so for new words.
Wow.
If I'm editing and tweaking, it's different.
A bit longer. Now, do you write longhand or are you computer?
I'm computer. I'm a word processor. Like I said, I'm a bit of a geek.
Yeah.
The other day I was mistakenly early for an appointment with someone, as you well know.
That sounds familiar.
And I had time.
Yeah.
So I brought out my engineering pad, geek, and wrote longhand and started a new story and wrote 3 pages worth of that in an hour. But that was longhand. And those are double spaced. But it was a start. The key thing for everybody that wants to do that, you got to start or you'll never finish. Thank you, James. I think we're about out of time. Hello. Have you ever considered being on television? It's a great chance not just to add 10 pounds rather, but a chance to speak, to be seen, to be heard. TV Toastmasters offers that opportunity. You can join us here in the studio, become a member, learn how to use the controls in the control booth, interview guests, appear on the show. It's a great chance to add to the typical Toastmasters skills because being on air is a little bit different. You don't get that immediate feedback from the audience. You get the chance to speak and be heard, to have other people get their messages heard, and it's a wonderful opportunity to expand what you've already been working on, the art of communication. So I encourage you, if you haven't thought about it, or even if you have, check out TV Toastmasters. You can see on the screen below how to contact us.